Hey there, American farmsteaders. This is Donna from Hazel Bell Farm.
And Jenny with the Grimstead Family Farm.
And we are coming to you from Northeast Florida as two American farmsteaders doing our best to grow our own food and share our homesteading experiences with you in hopes that you would grow a little food of your own.
And that is exactly what we're talking about today, growing food and not lawns.
Yes.
Yes. So I think that's often like the big plague of gardening is keeping the grass out of the garden. Mm-hmm. Yes. I struggle with that so much.
It's my biggest problem. My biggest challenge in the garden is grass.
Yeah.
I have figured out how to tackle all of the pests, the too much sun, the powdery mildew. Like I've got a handle on all that stuff. It's the grass.
Yeah, it's keeping the grass from creeping in and taking over, and the weeds kind of go right along with that.
Right.
So we figured that we would talk to y'all today about some actionable things that you can do to help keep stuff out of the garden like that. But not only that, but what if you're starting from scratch?
Right.
And you just have a lawn out in your backyard that you want to transform into a garden. So we are going to chat with y'all about that today. So I think the first thing to keep in mind is, if you're starting completely from scratch, is location.
Right.
Location is going to be your most important thing. So anywhere that gets full sun, because you can always have the option of adding shade cloth if you are growing things that need a little bit of shade. So
Even in a big garden.
Even in a big garden, yeah.
You can add shade. You can plant trees, like fruit trees around to add a little shade. There's all kinds of stuff you can do.
Yeah. So location is probably the most important thing. So full sun and accessible to water. Because hauling water sucks.
It does. It does, for sure.
Yeah. So what's the problem with grass in the garden?
Well, for me, it chokes out everything else. It soaks up nutrients. My biggest problem is it will choke out plants.
It absolutely does.
And dollarweed is my other nemesis.
Yeah.
The other weeds, they kind of come in like where a seed drops, but these are things that it's the rhizomal grasses,
right,
that I have a hard time with.
Yes. So. And that would be like a crabgrass, right? Yeah. Yeah, those things that just run and spread and they take over.
And it seems like when I put down cardboard, it just makes them thrive.
I know.
Like they run underneath it.
I know. Tori said to me the other day, he came into the garden when I was planting onions and he's like, babe, do you need more mulch? And I'm like, no, I don't need more mulch because the last time we did mulch, it was almost like the grass was like, hey, hold my beer.
I'm going to show you what I can do to some mulch.
And we put it down thick.
Yeah.
I mean, we did not play around the last time we mulched the garden, and the grass just came back with a vengeance. So that wasn't quite...
my mulch is down only like 4 inches thick, and it came back with a vengeance. But my understanding is to deal with the grasses that we have here, that you really need 6 to 8 inches of mulch. And I can't afford 8 inches of mulch in my giant
whole entire garden.
It's too big for that.
No, I mean, that would literally probably cost about $600 or $700.
Oh, yeah.
Easy. Yeah. So, yeah,
and then
so
it
straight
breaks
mulch.
down, so you have to replace it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, so straight mulch really for us isn't the answer. Another thing that I think you have to kind of think about is, should you remove the grass or should you just cover the grass? And I think that goes back to like the whole crabgrass thing. It's like, okay, well, what kind of grass do you have in your garden?
Right.
Do you have something that's just a little bit lighter, like a fescue, that can easily just be kind of smothered and covered up, maybe with some cardboard sheet mulching and then mulch on top of it? Or is it crabgrass that's just going to get angry at you when you cover it?
And it'll find that one little hole.
It'll find that one little hole, and it's just going to go crazy. So I think you have to consider what you're working with before you make a plan.
Yeah, and I know that when I dig that stuff out, some of those rhizomes, I mean, they go 18 inches deep. So it really does make me wonder, like, how thick of mulch would I need to be able to keep it out forever? And there wasn't anything in there when I planted this garden at all. It was complete sand.
Right, because it was like an old pig pen.
Right.
Yeah.
There was no vegetation at all. So everything that's in there has crept in since I've planted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's so frustrating.
So frustrating. It's such a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So what do I do? What can I do?
Well, so another thing that I think people have to consider also is how are you going to garden? You know, if you're starting from scratch, how are you going to garden? Are you going to do everything in raised beds or are you thinking a more traditional row garden? Because I think both options, you're probably going to have a little bit of a different approach. You know, if you have a grass that's not a runner and you're planning on doing everything in raised beds, you may be able to get away with just doing some really thick cardboard, building your raised bed on top of that, and then adding all your soil into your raised bed.
Right.
In that situation, that might be fine.
Right.
But if it's crabgrass under there, you're still going to have to pull that out.
Right.
You still got to do something. With a traditional row garden, I don't think it matters what any kind of grass you have. If you're growing in the ground, grass is probably going to get into your garden. So, you know, if you're doing a larger traditional row garden, I think you have to take a much more aggressive, thorough approach.
I'm not sure that everybody else who listens is dealing with the same kind of grass that we have here. I think that we have very aggressive grasses, you know, and some are native and some aren't, but they're here and they do very, very well in our very wet, rainy season and in the heat. They love it, you know. I don't think everybody is dealing with that. So I think if you have a less aggressive growing grass, you can probably get away with a little less intensity on the removal.
Well, and here's the thing. It's not a cookie cutter plan for anybody, you know, because everybody's in a different climate. Everybody has a different growing situation, different grasses that they're dealing with, different weeds that they're dealing with, and different goals and different budgets.
Right.
So it's really kind of a can of worms. So yeah, figure out how you're growing. Are you growing raised? Are you growing traditional? And what kind of ground are you working with?
Right.
So let's talk about ways to remove grass. If, you know, say you're going to take maybe a 10 by 12 area in your backyard and you're going to turn that just into some ground row gardens.
Okay.
Ways to remove the grass in those areas.
Okay.
So the first obvious choice would be manually take out that grass.
That's what I was thinking, double dig.
Right, exactly, double dig. And so what that means basically is mapping out your area, taking a shovel, getting a shovel full, and then flipping that grass upside down and keeping, which you can do as long as it's not full of grass seed heads, because you don't want to do that. So if it's, you know, grass that's been maintained and it's not full of seeds or not full of weeds, you absolutely can just take that and dig it and flip it. And having that grass in there kind of underneath that soil will eventually decompose and help to feed the garden because it's full of nitrogen.
Right.
Yeah. So you can definitely manually do it.
Put your back into it. It's like hand plowing.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, pulling out roots. If it's that kind of grass, if it's that creepy crawly,
right? And if it
grass,
is that creepy crawly, I mean, you have to get it out of there.
You just keep doing it. You just keep doing it. I know.
For years.
I know. I keep doing it. But yeah, you're right. You're right. So do it by hand.
Yeah. So other than manual, which is a pretty cheap way to do it, and you could probably get an area done in a weekend with a couple people.
Yeah.
The other option would be to spend a little bit of money and maybe get a sod cutter. Like maybe you have some seriously thick grass that you're trying to deal with, and maybe you have the option of using a sod cutter. You know, maybe it's in your budget to buy one or rent one.
A tool rental company, yeah.
Maybe you have a friend that has one, although I don't know anybody that has a sod cutter.
I mean, maybe a landscape company friend.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't either. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, but, I think that's a tool rental thing.
Yeah, a tool rental at like a Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. You could probably get a pretty decent size area done pretty quick. Maybe do it with like a half-day rental. But again, it's going to cost you a little bit of money. So you kind of have to weigh your options. with that.
Yeah. I mean, on that same kind of between those two, maybe a walk behind tiller.
That's on the list.
Little power tiller.
Yes, absolutely. You know, especially if you know that you're going to double dig the area anyways.
Right.
Instead of double digging it with a shovel, again, if you had access to a tiller, one that you could borrow or rent for a half a day, you could absolutely just go through that area and till that area up. And you're essentially just doing the same thing as a double dig, tilling that grass into the soil so it'll eventually break down.
Breaking up the roots.
Yeah, breaking up the roots. It adds lots of organic matter to the soil.
I think that's a much more accessible way
than a sod cutter.
Yeah, I think,
for sure.
I know a lot of people who have a walk behind tiller.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. Mine just won't start.
We've talked about it in the past. We've talked about having a girls' project day. We don't have time for that.
I don't have time to fix my tiller, but that's okay. I mean, I don't really use it anyway. So yeah, tilling is a great option. Not that I'm huge on tilling. I mean, over tilling definitely will create a hard pan in your soil. It will eventually destroy the structure of your soil.
Yeah, it just contributes to, I mean, it just becomes prone to erosion and you lose your topsoil.
Yeah. So I'm not really a fan of the regular tilling, but I can definitely get behind tilling, doing like an initial till on an area.
Yeah.
To get the ball rolling.
Sure.
And get some food in the ground.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing wrong with that.
I agree.
So another option, if you don't have like a tiller and you don't want to shovel it, and maybe you have some chickens.
Yeah.
Maybe you could fence off a little area and start ground feeding your chickens in that garden area where you know you're going to put your garden, and let the chickens scratch it up. I mean, the chickens will get rid of some grass.
Yeah. Let me add on to that. I have to say this because people are so put off by chickens eating off the ground. Like if you like they are birds.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. You know, chickens, there are wild chickens, you know, in the jungles of Southeast Asia, and they aren't fed in clean feeders every day.
No,
they're opportunistic feeders, and they love to eat anything they can find off the ground. So I like to put my chickens to work purposefully feeding them on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I do have a coop for my layer birds.
Right.
And I do feed them in feed pans. I also throw food on the ground for them. And I expect for them, when I let them out, and I expect for them to come out and clean up cow pies and whatever else they can find. So there's that. But my meat birds, they stay out on pasture, and I feed them right on the ground.
I do too.
Yeah. Because usually their job is to also clean up cow pies, or we bring in a lot of hay. We have those big round bales of hay for our cows because we don't have great grass. We're building soil on our sand mountain here. And so what's left of the hay, the cows waste a ton of hay. And what's left at the bottom of the round bale gets matted down. They lay on it.
And the cows aren't going to touch it.
The cows will not touch it once they've, you know, my cows are so bougie.
Or the sheep.
Yeah, or the sheep.
Yeah.
And so it gets matted down, all clumped together. Well, grass can't come up through that, no matter how much seed is in that hay, you know, to help bring it forth. So the chickens come through. I run them over that in their tractors, and they scratch it up, and I throw feed right where I want them to scratch to encourage them to scratch those areas. And that is okay, my friends. It's okay.
Yes, use your animals wisely.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they are great at scratching up an area, and they're fertilizing it as they go.
Right.
So there's that.
I like using chickens that way. I would like to say that I could use pigs that way too, but I think that you would need a good, strong, portable electric fence.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely use pigs to till up a new garden area. I mean, they will get the job done.
Right.
It's just containing them to that area during the process.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the challenge. And then you just have to know that you have a secure area ready for them whenever you're ready to move them out of that area.
Yeah.
So
we were considering like a welded pen of hog panels.
Yeah.
On wheels kind of thing. If we could find one that, I don't know, maybe they're not so much of a rooter like the Coonies or something like that. And use them the same way that we use our chickens and just move them every day or twice a day or whatever. Just like a 10 by 10, like a cage.
It's actually a really great idea. Have like a mobile pig tractor.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. With a feeder and bring them water and just keeping them from digging out. But I think if you moved them all the time, I think they'd be happy.
I think they would be happy.
To be in there. They'd be fine.
Yeah. So. Yeah, because they would get a fresh little area to tear up every day.
Right. So you could do that in a garden space. And they would have that tilled up and cleaned out in a day.
In no time. Like pigs would get the job done as quick as you getting out there and tilling it yourself, probably. I mean, they're going to make quick work of it. So using animals is always a great idea, I think. Anything that can be dual purpose is a win.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so...
What if you don't have animals, but you have the grass and you don't want to till it?
Smother it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes a little time.
Takes a little bit of time. It does take some forethought because really to like smother an area and really kill the grass, you're going to need at least 4 to 6 weeks with that area being covered. So
they're better off to do that like in the winter time when your grass is in its dormant season.
Yeah, I tell people that often. Like if you know that you want to do a spring garden and you haven't gotten anything established yet and it's fall or winter, go ahead and tarp that area when you can, as soon as you can, and just leave it tarped until spring. And I always feel like it's magic. Anytime you've had an area tarped and it looks awful when you tarp it and then you pull it back and it looks perfect. It's like
ready to plant. Yeah.
It's ready to go.
Yeah.
So if you can think about it ahead of time, if you know that you want to try to garden, get a jump on it. Tarp it in the fall or winter, and then you'll be almost ready to go in the springtime.
Yeah, I think this year I'm going to do that instead of, because we're always year round growing.
Yeah,
and I think when we get to like regular cold, I'm just not going to try to do anything. I'm going to be done with the kales and the collards and all the other green things that we love. Like I love that they keep going, but I'm just going to start fresh. I think I'm just going to cover everything over and have 4 to 6 weeks of covered garden.
Of everything covered.
I say that now, but it's so hard to not have fresh food when you're used to fresh food.
Yeah, it is. It's hard, but I think the month of February for Florida anyways, I don't speak for all you people up north.
Yeah, January and February.
But January and February for Florida is kind of a good time for us to think about just resetting and trying to get a jump start for a clean slate for springtime.
Yeah.
So February, I feel like is a really good month for that.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Because we're wimps. It's cold. We don't want to be outside in January and February.
No, I don't want to be outside today.
It's
November.
I know. It's like 50 degrees outside and we're like all huddled up like a bunch of wimps.
Seriously. Like all the layers, please. Double socks. Yeah, morning chores were not fun today. But yeah, January and February come and it's not that I want to be in the garden. I just like the option of when we have a warm day, going out there and spending time in the garden, or the kales that thrive in the cold. I love having kale and eggs in the wintertime. And there's so much vitamin C when you need it during cold and flu season. So I don't know. I don't know if I can figure out. Maybe I can put some of those in my flower beds close to the house.
You absolutely could,
and then just cover what my spring garden will be.
Yeah.
It's an idea.
Yeah.
And then I probably should have done that in the summertime during the hottest, like June, July, August.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
That's the story of my life.
Or wait, what is it? I'm
the queen of I'm gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. So smothering the garden.
Do that.
And there's different ways that you can smother the garden. And again, it's just going to depend on what do you have around, what's in your budget, and what's going to work for you? Because ultimately, you got to find out what works for you. What works for me might not work for you. So find a way to smother your garden. So different ways that you can smother the garden is deep mulch, which we already talked a little bit about.
Right.
Sometimes things get angry when you just deep mulch them.
Yeah.
So I really feel like if you were just going to deep mulch, like I really feel like you need to do something before you deep mulch, like get rid of the grass beforehand, like till it and then deep mulch it.
Right.
Or
Cover
tarp
it
it.
and then, yeah.
Right. Or like super thick, heavy cardboard and then deep mulch it.
Right.
For that to be effective. So sheet mulching with cardboard, that can be really effective. And I see people say all the time, I see it online, people will be like, put down newspaper. No.
My very first garden, I used newspaper and then like the thinnest layer of mulch from bags, And no, my garden was filled with fireweed because we had cowpen compost.
Right.
It was what, Eric dug for me for my first garden. And it came right up through that newspaper.
Yeah, I don't know, newspaper, I don't know. I wouldn't waste your time. I mean, unless you're doing like a whole actual newspaper that you're not like...
It's 2 inches thick. Yeah. That might work.
Right.
That might work.
You'd have to have a pretty small garden to pull that off though, so...
There is, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like gardener's paper.
Okay.
And I think you can get it at your big box stores. It comes on a roll like a bolt. And it's for the purpose of smothering out, like to use as a sheet mulch.
Okay.
And then you cut holes in it to put your plants in.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that takes me to the next thing. Like that's kind of like a weed barrier or like a weed fabric.
Yeah.
And so you can use those weed barriers as just like a weed barrier or to like smother things out, but you can also plant right in them, which I don't know. It might work for you. It might not work for you.
Yeah, I mean that's what our big farms around here do. They use a gardener's cloth, landscape fabric, and then burn holes or cut holes or whatever they do.
Yeah, they take little like torch burners and barely just hit the fabric with it, and it makes like the perfect little circle
and
for
it keeps
them
it
to
from
plant
fraying
in
because it melts the edges.
Yep.
Yeah. So that works. I don't know if it's how reusable that is because like. I know the farms don't reuse them because once they plant and then they have to redo their rows, there's no reusing that stuff.
Right. So I mean,
but on a small scale, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would be an expense. So it just kind of depends on what your budget is, you know.
Well, hey there, American Farmsteaders. We just wanted to let y'all know that we have a brand new website, AmericanFarmsteaders.com.
It's your hub for modern homesteading inspiration, knowledge, and community. You can find encouragement to grow food from our blog, podcast, and our in-person workshops.
You can find all this and our merch store, which supports the podcast and the blog.
Be sure to check it out and subscribe to our newsletter while you're there to keep up with all the Farmstead Her happenings at AmericanFarmsteadHers.com. Cover cropping.
Yeah. That's something I'd like to do better at this year.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I feel like cover cropping is kind of an easier concept if you have a little bit of a bigger garden and if it's like a row garden, because then the whole chop and drop process is a little bit more straightforward.
Right.
With like a traditional in-ground garden. So you can grow these cover crops that are usually nitrogen fixers. So they help feed the soil, they help build the soil. And then you're basically just taking that chop and drop material and chopping it and dropping it. And you can leave that in place as a ground cover to help keep the weeds and the grass out.
Right,
If you're keeping that soil covered, that's less likely to grow a bunch of grass in it. So, and that'll break down over time. And eventually feed your plants. Yeah. So you can plant right in it, or a lot of people will even go through that with a tiller and go ahead and till that cover crop in and let that break down over time.
Right.
Which I would think would happen a little bit quicker that way.
Yeah.
As opposed to just, chopping and dropping on the surface.
Well, and I think it depends on what it is, because I know some of them, some things that you can grow, and depending on where you are more like a short grain, and you just kind of bend those over,
right?
And that does create a thick mulch, and then you can plant in that. So yeah, it depends on what it is, I think.
Yeah,
that you're using, what time of year it is, and all that.
Yes, and so. One thing that we haven't mentioned because we talked all about like, okay, how to get the grass out. Okay, so say you've got this 10 by 12 area and you've gotten all the grass out, but what about the weed seeds? What about that seed bank that's in the soil?
Right.
This is what I wish I would have done with my garden, because I did that initial till on my garden and got it all nice and, grass free for the most part. And then I just went ahead and straight planted my garden.
Right.
What I wish I would have done was a solarization of the soil.
Right. Yeah.
Which is basically taking a clear plastic sheet and covering that dirt with the clear plastic sheet. It's going to work better in the summer. The hotter, the better. Bury your edges to trap all that heat underneath that clear tarp and let that sit for, I don't know, I would think at least 4 to 6 weeks.
I don't know that it takes that long.
You don't think it takes that long?
No, because most of those seeds are going to sprout and germinate in the first probably 2 weeks.
You're right.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think it takes that long.
And so that way, whatever weed seeds or grass seeds for that matter have been exposed to the surface of the soil, they're now getting that solar energy put to them, and it's basically cooking them and killing them.
Right.
So
Right.
As long as you don't go back in and like retill.
Right.
So I would think maybe it might be a smart thing to form your rows before you put down that clear plastic.
It's a good idea. Yeah, I have not ever done that. I've seen where people do it successfully all the time, but I have not done that.
I've never done it either.
like, I make my rows right when I'm ready to plant. So the rows are made. I'm excited. I've got plants to put in the ground. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the patience for all that. So some of this does take some forethought and some proper planning. Yeah. And not just like gardening by the seat of your pants like we tend to do.
Right. Yeah, I know. It really got me thinking back on when I started my garden. Like, dang, I wish I would have done that.
Yeah.
I wish I would have made my rows and done the clear plastic and cooked those weed seeds. Right. And then after that, gosh, you could pull that soil and then you could sheet mulch it with cardboard if you wanted.
Right.
Or you could plant a living ground cover.
Right. Like a clover?
Yeah, you could do a clover, or I know Elise Pickett, she recommended perennial peanut.
Right.
And a mix of, I think, mimosa. Did she say mimosa?
I don't remember her saying that, but maybe so. I know that like that bitter chamber looks like that. Looks like a mimosa, and that seems to be a popular thing to use. And I don't know why, because it's super invasive.
Well, and see, that's where my brain goes next. Like, okay, if you plant the living ground cover, how do you
control
keep it out of your growing space?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, I don't know.
I don't have all the answers. I mean, I honestly, guys, like we don't have all the answers. Like we're doing the best we can do from season to season.
Absolutely.
And we learn along the way, and we have some experience, but we haven't done it all either.
No, we definitely do not have it all figured out, and we definitely have grass in our garden.
All the time. Yep. I'm really hoping that this first frost helps knock back some of my grass to, be able to pull out and then use that new ground cover that I got.
Yeah.
Which is a landscape fabric.
Yeah. Yes. I'm excited to see how that works out for you. We'll put a link to the landscape fabric that Donna bought in the show notes. But then too, okay, so let's talk about like, what can we spray in our garden?
Right.
Like, is there something we can spray to kill the weeds in the grass?
Yeah.
Of course, if you really want, you have the option of using like a traditional herbicide, but in by no way, shape, or form do I recommend that. Or, I personally wouldn't do it in my own garden. So
I'm afraid to use any kind of herbicide in my garden because I'm afraid that there's a lingering effect or an overspray, or, I'm just like, please don't do like Eric likes to spray stuff out in the pasture as needed. And he'll come along the fence lines, to spray grass there. Well, he likes to hit the fence line across the back of my garden. I'm like, no.
Right.
So now it's overgrown with the wild blackberries are coming in, and they're thorny, and it's like a thicket along the fence. He's aggravated about that because I don't know why. I don't know why he cares so much, but he does. I'm aggravated because he shows up with a sprayer, and I'm like, stop.
Right.
So,
way too close.
yeah. I have used, what is the one in the orange jug?
Yes, it is Dr. Earth's weed and grass killer.
Yes, so it does work really well on the grasses.
It does.
It knocks it back. I haven't seen where it knocks it back forever.
No, it did not. When I used it, and I've used it twice, it did not kill stuff completely. But I was also using it on stuff that was pretty well established. So I think that's something that you have to keep in mind, especially if you're using something that is organic.
Right, and it is.
It is, yeah. It's on the OMRI list.
Yeah.
Anything that's going to be well established, those organic sprays just really aren't going to do a fantastic job on them.
Or woody, because it didn't touch.
Or woody,
It didn't touch. I have wild marshmallow. It didn't touch that, and it didn't touch the blackberries.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
And I think time of day, I think moisture content
Right.
all kind of affects that. Like
Yeah.
if you go out there and spray something organic and your plants are wet,
It doesn't work.
it doesn't work. It's just going to dilute it too much.
Right.
So, those types of things, if you spray them out in the bright sunlight,
Right.
they're going to be a little bit more effective. And if you could just catch it early on, I think that they would work a lot better.
Yeah, that Dr. Earth's did work a lot better on the younger, smaller, more tender,
Yeah.
little seedlings.
Yeah. So it's in my arsenal to use in my spring garden when things start to creep up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be spraying it with the Dr. Earths, but you got to be careful because it's
an herbicide.
It's right. I mean, like if you spray your vegetable plants with it, they're going to be affected and they're probably going to die. So
Yeah.
Especially newly planted stuff.
There's another one that I can't remember the name either. I wasn't prepared with it. But there's another one, it's a granular something that you put out and it just prevents seeds from germinating. So it's good for your walkways and things or established beds like maybe your perennial beds
Right.
or places where you're going to put in plants,
Yeah.
transplants. But if you're going to direct sow anything, you wouldn't want to use it. So it's supposed to help with that. Again, though, I've been afraid to use it. So
Yeah.
I haven't yet. I bought a bag. I'm really bad about like buying stuff and then it's sitting on the shelf forever because I'm afraid to use it. So and it falls in that category. I'll have to look what the name is, but it's supposed to be a good all natural whatever. It just prevents germination. So,
Okay.
if you like having a lot of volunteers, then you're not going to get that.
Right.
Which I do like having a lot of volunteers, but I don't like having a lot of grass. So, and that was the other thing. The kind of grass that I have that crawls beneath the surface and
Yes.
grows, and spreads its roots that way through shoots. I didn't think that this would handle that. So it would keep like grass seeds from germinating.
Right.
So
I'm interested if you figure out what it is. I want to know.
I think I
want to
might
look at it.
Yeah, I think I might try it on my onion beds because Dixondale recommends it.
Oh, really?
They do, yeah, because onions really do not like the competition.
Any
of
competition.
weeds, yeah. And so they recommend you use. They didn't say this brand in particular. They just said like whatever the name of the chemical is or whatever. I think it's not an organic one. They said put this out, in your bed prep. The same like they also recommend you doing the trenches for fertilizer, and I don't do that. So
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. I might try it on my onions. And maybe I'll try it on like a section of my onions and kind of to give it a test
Yeah.
since we like the experiments.
I know. Yes, I got my onion experiment going.
Yay.
Which I think we might have talked about last week. The onions in the homemade compost right next to the onions in the mushroom compost from Lowe's.
Yeah.
So far everything looks exactly the same.
Good.
So that's good.
Good.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So that's the arsenal on grass.
Just keep chipping away at it. That's all I can
know.
say. I mean,
That's all you can do. And I mean, I keep on going back to the tarp in my own garden. Like whenever it gets really bad, just tarp it, cover it up, don't look at it.
yeah, I'm always reminded in the garden when I'm pulling grass out or weeds. I'm like, it's a never ending. It is never ending. There will not be an end to it.
No.
Right? We're promised this in Genesis in the Bible.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're forever, I can't remember the exact words of the scripture. I'm not going to try to quote it, but there's always going to be toil in the land.
Yeah.
Growing our food. So it's a constant battle that's not going away. Mm-hmm. So you just kind of own it.
Yeah.
And work at it and know that we're created to do it and keep going.
That's right.
One step in front of the other.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope this kind of helps y'all kind of think through on your attack plan for maybe a new garden in your backyard.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll just help y'all get going so you can grow a little bit of food.
Yeah. All right. So before we go, check out our website, AmericanFarmsteadHers.com, and go to our shop where we have 4 different kinds of stickers regularly priced at $3 each. We are doing a holiday special, 4 for $8.
Yes.
So buy the bundle pack of all 4 stickers. You get them for $8. We'll ship them out to you. They will make excellent little stocking stuffers for your gardeners at home.
I think so too. I think they're super cute.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye.